So a while back I saw a game theory video, and I don't remember what this video was even about or anything. I just remember specifically that he mentioned that wearing a red skin can give you an advantage in a game, and I've just been thinking about whether that was actually true. And I have seen like articles that said in sports being wearing a red uniform can give you an advantage, but I never saw anything about video games, so I kind of wanted to test it myself and see whether I played better when I was using a red skin. So I'm going to start today by playing 15 games as a skin that isn't wearing red, and then do 15 wearing a red skin, and we'll see how I do. One last thing before we get started, I want to say thanks a lot for 500 subs. When I first started, I would have never expected we would have made it this far, so that really means a lot. But let's get started with game number 1. So I landed at the Citadel, saw the boss, and I was like, yeah, I'm not fighting him with just a pistol. Ran for my life, got outside, and I just ran into this guy, and somehow we ended up trading. I've barely ever seen that happen in this game, and that happened in our first one. In game 2, I grabbed a pretty easy kill on a guy who literally didn't even have a gun, but shortly after that I ended up running into somebody else, and we died pretty early on. Game 2 I actually survived for a bit, so I only had to fight one person at the place where I first landed, and then I didn't really fight anybody else until it was pretty much the end game. My aim with this pistol may have sucked, but that didn't stop me from grabbing 2 kills with it. Caught this guy sleeping on top of a house, and then he just ran away with a hammer, but I was still able to chase him down into a shack where he suicide bombed. Later on, I was just sitting on this roof, and seemingly out of nowhere, a shockwave grenade just comes in, and this foreshadows what happens later on in the match, but you'll see what happens. So with the help of my RPG, I was able to take down the second to last guy, but I made the mistake of ignoring the shockwave grenades that were coming from the sky. Finally, when rockets came raining down from the sky, I realized something was up, and I looked up and saw a guy floating on balloons. But you might think, well, I just shot him down and then I killed him, right? Well, no, because he basically infinitely shot down arrows at me for like 3 minutes straight. And I barely had any time to shoot up at him, and it didn't really help that I wasn't carrying an AR. So I just was, yeah, it lasted 3 minutes, but I just couldn't do anything. I just was shockwaved constantly the whole time, and I lost. After a pretty successful game 3, game 4 was just back to me grabbing 1 kill and then dying shortly after. Then game 5 was my first one where I didn't actually get a kill, but I did place 41st somehow. I started off the next one pretty well with some kills. This guy seemingly wouldn't die, but I barely won this fight with like 20 health. Next one was just an easy kill where I beamed a guy on a zipline. And this guy probably wasn't very happy after I shot him twice with an RPG to kill him. Finally though, I realized my SMG wasn't reloaded and it cost me the game. Game 7 didn't start off too bad either. Picked off this guy with 1 shot after he just got done fighting somebody. Then some guy pulled up in a truck, let me finish drinking my big pot, and I ended up winning that, barely. And then I just got shot immediately after. Game 8 was my second one where I didn't get a kill. Coincidentally, it was at the same spot as the last time, so maybe I should have stopped landing there. In the next one, I grabbed a kill on this guy who kept running away. But then I kind of got screwed over by the fact that I have my sprint and augment button is the same thing. And yeah, I took extra damage because of it. Game 10 I placed 7th, but I was only able to get this 1 kill on a guy who just landed. Number 11, I basically just died right off spawn. Number 12, I grabbed the gun before this guy, and then he just took the L and did an emo. Then, I ended up somehow trading with someone again. Next one was another game where I got a kill pretty early on and then just died shortly after. Game 14 was off to a pretty good start, got 2 kills pretty early on, and then later on I finally ran into somebody else, barely killed him, got down to 2 health, but luckily he had to reload. And then this guy came in on a hammer, beamed him with the AR, or at least did a good amount, Shotgun aim was a bit questionable, but hey, he did no damage, so no harm done there. And we're down to the 1v1. I just didn't, I wasn't aiming too well, and he ended up winning with the combat shotgun that I dropped earlier, I think. So I kind of realized that I only played 14 games as a non-Redskin, so I'm going to be doing some live commentary on this one right now. I don't know where he is. I'm kind of worried that he's going to have like full shield. Alright, pretty sure he's inside. Yeah, let's see what augment we got. I'll take Storm March. Or Storm Mark. Whatever you call this. Oh, someone's in here. Oh, perfect. He's not even... This guy's a maniac. That's a good one. If I'm being honest, I don't even know how much extra damage it does. I don't know. Oh! I gotta get out of here. This guy's got good aim. Oh. Run! How am I even alive? I shouldn't be. I don't think I will be for much longer. Oh. Oh, I was right. So with the first 15 games out of the way, let's look at some stats. So we got 27 total kills, which gave me a 1.8 KD, an average placement of about 45. The highest kills I got in a game was 6, and my best placement was 2nd, which I got twice. With all that said, let's get into the next 15 games. Things didn't get off to the best start because in my first game I went to Lonely Labs and I died without any kills. The next one ended up being a very peaceful game for me up until there was only 17 people left, where I grabbed my first kill. Got decently low, but I survived. Follow that up, I ran into another guy not too long after, and I ended up just doming him for like, I was at 124, but immediately after that I got pushed by a guy with a hammer and just got sent, and then I died. Game 2 I heard some fighting outside, and then I realized that it was just 2 bots fighting each other. This first one just wouldn't die to my shotgun, but hey, these weren't the most impressive, but 2 kills is 2 kills. Then I took an arrow to the head and got sent, which honestly was probably a good thing for me so I could get out of there. I most likely would have died otherwise. But then I drank my big pot and said, yeah, I'm getting out of here. And I nearly killed myself with that shockwave, but I lived, barely. And then, since I had Bush Warrior, I ran to that pile of leaves and I was able to heal up. And I found another guy and just killed him pretty easily. Luckily this guy's aim wasn't too good and I ended up winning this fight with only 8 people left in the game. But shortly after, somebody pushed me, I missed all my shots pretty much, and this guy with no kills got me. In the next game I got quite a few kills. First guy was definitely a bot. Hey, that doesn't take away from the other ones. This guy was just not ready when I pushed him on point and he just didn't even shoot back at all. Then with the help of my RPG I was able to kill this guy with like no health left. I was able to heal up a bit, but then I got pushed by 2 different people, got one of them, and then I died doing RPG. Next game was pretty uneventful. I just got 1 kill early on, and then I got pushed by a guy while I was trying to drink my shield, and then I died. Game 6 was a pretty good one though. All I had to do to survive Slappy Shores was kill 1 bot, and then I used a tree and an RPG to kill this guy. And I once again killed the guy because of the RPG, but... And finally, when I got to 6th place, I had no cover, tried to run away, and then I ran into another guy. The next game was fairly uneventful, but I grabbed a kill early on. Then I basically didn't get into many fights up until the end because that was when it was a 1v1 and I died to a hammer. I kind of hate hammers. Nothing much happened in the next one. I got a kill, but like not too long after I got pushed by a guy and I could not hit an SMG shot to save my life. Next game was a pretty decent one. This guy I was pretty lucky to kill, to be honest. He had to reload and I think he just kind of panicked, and that was why I won that fight. Next guy came up on a zipline and then he just pretty much did no damage to me. This guy, well, he kind of sucked, but I also kind of sucked. But hey, I won that fight. This guy just had no idea I was watching him, waiting for him to leave the present, and then I just beamed him. And shortly after that, a guy came in on a car. I got in with him, and then after I got out, I had an augment, so I couldn't sprint. And I think this was what made me say, alright, I'm changing my keybind. I'm done with having this as the same thing. Once again, game number 10 was starting off pretty good. Grabbed 2 kills and took really no damage out of it. Later on, I saw somebody on top of a roof, and he was in a fight, so I just third-partied him and grabbed a kill. Then after I pushed that fight, well, to my surprise, there was 2 people inside this house, even after I killed somebody, and I ended up losing. Although, I think I definitely could have had another kill if it wasn't for that. Early on in my next game, I just pretty much got 2 kills back to back. The first guy was really low, and then the next guy was most definitely a bot. But hey, like I said before, 2 kills is 2 kills, right? Then I found this guy inside a building, and he nearly killed me with just 1 shot, which would have been pretty disappointing. Then there was a guy hiding behind a tree, which is pretty early in the game for someone to be doing that, but anyway, yeah, he pushed me. My shotgun was not doing much damage, and I died. Next game was the second time I got no kills as a redskin, but what can you do when you go against a guy with a legendary shotgun at the beginning of the game? Game 13 was probably one of my best out of this whole video. I started off with 2 kills at Sloppy Shores. The first guy was just running away, but the second guy actually put up a bit of a fight. This guy, I gave away my spot with a bunch of misses, but I picked up my aim a little bit and I killed him. And this guy, with the help of my augment, I was able to see him through a bush. Then finally I got pushed with almost no health. By a miracle I won it, but then I got shot by someone else. The next one I landed at Faulty Splits, and there were just too many people here. I was shooting at one guy, got shot by somebody else, and then another guy comes in and pushes me. I just couldn't do anything about it. And just like that, we're at the final game of the video. And I would say I went out with a bang. Grabbed that kill pretty early on. This guy, I wasn't really hitting my shotgun shots, or at least not doing much damage, but the pistol came in clutch. This guy was just AFK. I don't know if you should really count that, but I mean, my aim here was kind of shaky to say the least, but I came out with the kill. Finally, with only 7 people left in the game, this guy ended up killing me. So with all of those games done, let's look at the stats for them. Got 36 total kills, a KD of 2.4. My average placement was about 26. Highest kills was 5, which was slightly lower than last time. And my best placement was 2nd again, but I didn't do it twice this time. At the end of the day, one thing is very clear. Stats when I was playing as a redskin were definitely better. I had more games with multiple kills, and I was a lot more consistent with my placement. But the real question is whether that's because of the skins that I was using. Certainly you could say it was just a coincidence, or maybe there was just more bots in those games. However, red is a color that draws attention. That's the reason why it's used on things like stop signs and warning labels. Maybe that was able to just keep me more focused, and that was able to help me get more kills and just play better overall. Ultimately, I think there was a big enough difference that you would have to say that there was some kind of impact being made by the skins that I was using, even if it was a small one. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd really like to hear what you guys think about this. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for 500 subs, and I'll see you guys next time.